So this is the Power Platform Daily Brief for Thursday, the 13th of June.
It certainly is.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yes, it is. 13th.
If not, we'll just ask them to put it out on this day anyway.
Just put it out on the 13th of June, please, and make it a Thursday.
It's me, Mark. Who else have we got today?
So we've got Iain, Bearded CRM guy, or Bearded 365 guy. I've rebranded myself.
Have you?
Rebranded my Twitter last week.
Oh.
And who are you?
Who am I? I'm Ruth Langsford, according to my login details. Claire Carmichael or 365 CRC.
Or we'll just go with Ruth Langsford, really. I think that's probably the best bit.
I think we just stick with that now, yeah. Stand in for this podcast.
We could actually do the kind of, with him as always as Garth. You could be Garth Garth.
So anyway, on today's Power Platform Daily Brief, what's been happening, guys?
What has been happening?
It's biz apps this week, isn't it? So it's really, really busy out there. There's lots of stuff getting released, lots of things for us to read and discuss. So what have we been reading today or this week?
So, I'm going to share this with you guys just now. Essentially, I have been watching the videos from Summit, from Biz Apps, and I want to talk about the new UI for Power BI, which is frankly a lot of letters and probably a half-decent Scrabble score. Blog post is called Power BI, New UI, and More AI. So many vowels.
I thought I was greedy with having them in my name, but...
And on his farm he had a I don't know.
A BIUI-AIO.
I'm sure, is that not like an Adrionian style song? EIA, no.
Sorry, what?
Anyway, right, so what's that about, Claire?
The blog post is a little light on detail, but fundamentally what they're looking to do is swap it out from the standard grey, black and yellow, very dark interface to look a lot more like UCI. It's nice and light, and crucially the themes apply. So it's looking more like a kind of classic model-driven app. Looks more like the UCI and generally looks really lovely.
So is there any like new functionality that's coming out with it, or is it just like a makeover? Because it has been that one.
Yeah. So not to say that it's better than anything else, but it does update pretty much once a month. It's phenomenal for that. There is new functionality pretty much every single time you log in. So the new functionality that they released as part of this, some of it now, some of it in beta, some of it very soon, definitely includes that AI functionality and that kind of lovely citizen developer end user AI builder, which is awesome. So other than being very sad that I wasn't in Atlanta, the blog also references the YouTube video to the delivery of the session, which I can share as a link with you guys. And it is the full roadmap, the full vision, and is an hour of wonderful, wonderful content. Oh yeah.
And that's all Power BI related to these new feature sets and things that are coming with it as well, with the AI element.
And fundamentally, it just looks so much better. So where you could potentially have put together reports in the past and then embedded them as dashboards or sort of slung them out into the universe as dashboards, they still always had that grey space. They always had that dark space. That is gone. It now looks more like a web application than it does like a report.
Okay. So it's removing that embedded element that always looked like it just didn't sit quite natively all the time.
Genuinely just looks like model driven.
Oh,
I know.
Exciting.
It really is.
It's totally your bag as well, isn't it? Like that's totally your. Like I can actually know how excited that's.
It's better than cross stitching, which it means a lot. It really does. So there's a fair few of those kind of really key points called out in the video and into the blog. Which, in fairness, this was 24 hours ago. So the fact that it's actually been blogged about at all is amazing. So the sessions basically have some improvements to the overall, exactly the one. So some improvements to the actual visual user end output, right? So the way that the reports actually look and feel. But the other thing they've done is obviously start to include some of those builder portions that are more like business rules. So the bits of functionality that you and I recognise from model-driven app builders or from business rule builders or ultimately towards the Power Platform in general, it looks more like that in the back end too. So it's gradually becoming slightly less schema and SQL and underlying data analysis. So it doesn't necessarily need to be managed and maintained by people with that headspace anymore.
That's pretty cool. I think as well there, it's actually interesting that's the blog that you chose to speak about in this, because for me, it was another announcement from the Biz App Summit, and it was around introducing AI Builder within the Power Platform.
Yep.
So it's another element of AI that's coming. It seems very much like it's almost tied into the same part for you, where it's doing things like image recognition and various bits like that, and binary classifications. Again, watching James Phillips' speech, his keynote speech, he mentions that in there as well, and he brings out a guy from Pepsi to speak about it there as well, and they're currently using it with like their people going down to stores where they can take a picture of a display in a store, and that'll pick out how many bottles it's got that are Pepsi bottles, whether it's Mountain Dew Pepsi or anything like that at all, and tell you how, and it'll count it, and then you can start logging that where it is, etc. So that was pretty cool. You can do object detection. You just drag and drop the element in, and then you train the AI. You upload a minimum, I think it's 15, but obviously the more you upload, the better recognition it's going to get, different shadings of light, whether it's apples, pears, or bicycles. And then you can take a picture, and if it identifies it as something which is within your
library,
CDS, because you've got a name of it and an image of it, they build a library, exactly. And then you can start counting that and pushing it back and just having a genuine count, so you can see this is how many audit we've got, this is what we've got there. So that's something for me, certainly with like the robotics and various warehouses and stuff, where they can see a lot more. That's cool. It's got a business card reader as well, an element that you just...
From having a quick look at this blog, Iain, more importantly than a business card reader, it's got a squinty business card reader.
But what it actually does there with that squinty image, it will take the squinty image, spin it round, cut all the noise around it, and give you just the business card. So you get that business card there and save it, and it looks, from the blog that they're talking about it, you're then going to be able to extract contact information from that and start using it. You can add the same with form processing, where you can start taking a picture of a particular form. So for me, this is ideal in an expenses type environment. I can take a picture. If I know what expenses are going to be, I can obviously use some cognitive services around it, start parsing the data a little bit of the image, and say this is going to be the name, this is the amount, etc.
That's amazing.
For me, I think that could be really interesting. But it sounds really cool when the Pepsi company, they seem like they've been using it for a while. There's a few other companies they mentioned that have still been using it, and now it's in preview for everybody. It's just there within your Power Apps menu. When you choose your, I think it's controls, if I remember rightly.
Oh, that's my tomorrow.
Yeah, it's there. It was released. So you can go, it is so cool. It looks really, really cool as to how easy it is to use, how easy you put it on, and the training of the object image identifying just seemed really easy. So you've got a library of files, you just upload them, pick the count, etc., and then you can start using that to say how many are null, or grab the image. And then within the Power Apps expressions, obviously just your Excel style functions, you can say in this field, I want you to see how many of this there is, how many of that there is.
Oh, that's
and it
phenomenal.
just automatically will start doing a lot of it for you. It's pretty cool. So on the menu of insert, it's right over there on the right hand side. App Builder, brackets preview, business card reader, form processor, and object detector.
I'm all over that.
It's cool. That's the one I went to first off as well. Then watched the video and realised, well, that's what everybody's going to go, but it's amazing. So smart. It's so clever.
I did see it once done a video with...
Yay.
It was, Claire, you're going to love this. It was a dinosaur. They trained it to learn or to identify what a stegosaurus was. I'm sure I've seen that. I'm not dreaming this. It was somewhere.
I definitely think you can do that, because if you take enough images of that, from all the angles with different light on it and stuff, and you say this is a Stegosaurus, this is what it looks like, versus
Triceratops, which doesn't look anything like Stegosaurus.
Triceratops. Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was the furthest thing I could think from it as well. But a Triceratops, it would identify them too, and it would be able to say, well, and obviously your kid has dropped
Correct.
all his dinosaurs, and I can count like Rain Man, there's
I
4
could
Triceratops and
object detect
2
my way around the flat,
Diplodocus or whatever,
counting
because you've
dinosaurs.
taken a picture of it. How awesome.
To be fair, we could probably just get
Yeah,
him
that's
on.
true. In fairness, although obviously my most hilarious dinosaur AI related story is that because me and my small person both share a phone, all of the algorithms now get confused and try and offer me like dinosaur printed dresses because it believes
Oh, your
that I love
Netflix must
both
love you.
fashion and dinosaurs so much that I must want to combine those two loves. It's actually true.
And why wouldn't you?
The best bit is, though, they offered me
That's
a
amazing.
Stegosaurus clutch bag recently, and I actually might get it. It's amazing.
That
So,
doesn't.
Mark, what have you been looking at? Moving on swiftly.
Well, this week on Paleontology Monthly,
All right, Mr. Geller.
this is what I've actually been wanting to speak about for quite a bit. And obviously it was just announced. I don't know if it was maybe announced a wee bit beforehand and I just totally forgot about it. But it's Dynamics 365 guides.
Yes.
So can you remember a while ago, Iain, where I called you through the remote assist app?
Yeah, we're messing about with the Android version of it because that's what you needed to get so you could start pushing images and things to me on Remote Assist, showing me how to do things.
Yeah, so I mean, it was. Folk wonder what weird things we get up to at night. Yeah, we actually do Teams call with remote assist and play about. Hi, Iain, can you draw an arrow on my bag of washing? That actually happened.
That is a true real life scenario.
But what's going to be even better now is Iain will be able to create. So we're talking about the kind of drag and drop and the sort of the interface that looks the same for building stuff. So with guides, it's basically like an on-screen guide. I mean, duh. But basically, you can write it. You can have as many pages as you want, and it could be a car. So we done the kind of I'm talking to Iain and Iain's pointing and clicking, but you can actually do predefined guides. So when you get this car with this engine, load up this guide. It will show you the arrows. So it will look at it and detect what angle you're looking at it from and tell you what to turn, what to.
So I seen a demo of this as well, and it was using the HoloLens 2. Does it need to use
Yes.
HoloLens 2? Do we know that or not? Or was that just obviously part of the pitch because that's dynamite?
Okay.
So at the moment, it is in preview with HoloLens devices. I believe it may only be for HoloLens, but that is not going to stop me buying a HoloLens.
It's super cool because the guide is sort of off to the left hand or right hand side of the screen and will move about, so it's always in your field of vision.
Yeah. And you can actually touch, so you can. It's like a deck of cards. You can swipe through it. One of the really, I want to say cool, but also want to say weird things was you can have a storeroom. So you need this part. You can walk into the storeroom, and if it's been mapped and like phased, you can actually say this is where the exact part is you need to fix it.
Yep.
So it's just honestly, you walk into the storeroom and it's got. You can imagine you walk into B&Q and there's 500 different types of screws. It will flash on the right box for you to take the screw out of.
Are you turning my DIY life into a PlayStation game? Is that what's just happening?
It kind of is a bit like that. It's
yeah,
like
pretty much.
When you see it, as Mark says, it's a guide that will tell you how to do things. So it will tell you, like, take the rocker cover off by using these 6 screws, and it will mark the 6 screws.
So that obviously lends itself really nicely to a work order or completion of a predefined service task.
And the augmented reality. And training as well.
Yep.
Training. So if you get somebody that's on board into a job that they have to learn tasks.
Nice.
You think about that as one-to-one training constantly. You've got a one-to-one referral. So you could have 100 new starts coming in with all HoloLens 2s, and you have one person that can sit there and see it. Also the data when they've completed the certain tasks, using things like Graph or Power BI. will all feed in together as well. So you can start seeing who's progressing because they're completing X, Y, Z, how long they're taking to progress.
There's lots of lovely data points in amongst all that, yeah, where you can potentially call out that the majority of people take longer on slide 3 than on slide 4. Potentially, we need to break down the activity that's in slide 3 into 2 slides, and you could really drive that down.
The other cool bit that you can do as well is you can put holographic icons in there. So you could put like a screwdriver in and
nice.
do a turning motion on the screwdriver, and it will save that as an action. So when you get to a certain card, it could say install the push rod and the rocker arms and fasten the rocker arm bolts with a 10mm torque wrench. And it actually has the torque wrench and is showing you which way to turn it and has counts on how far round it's going and stuff.
Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey.
Well, yeah. I mean, nobody needs to remember that anymore.
And making the actual guys themselves looked very, very easy as well. Drag and drop. It's just like building a business rule again. So they're all the same. They're becoming unified, funnily enough.
It's got that synergy, the movement of it, and the unification across the whole lot of it, where it's pulling it together. It's moved.
But selfishly, it's lovely to see that it's unified on the front end for the users, but it's beginning to become truly unified for us on the development end as well.
Agreed, actually, yeah. That user adoption piece there as well, when everything's unified and looks the same and behaves the same, and the experience is always very similar. There's not this, OMG, what am I looking at?
I mean, there's that many new products coming out. Everything's moving so quickly at the moment that it's hard to keep up, but you are able to go in and just build something. So I was messing around with Virtual Agent this week, and it is just like building either a Visio diagram or a business rule. It's drag and drop, connect your lines.
That's the awesome thing just now, and as you say, there's so much released. I think the point when the BizApp Summit started, they announced obviously the next release, and there's 400 separate pieces or something in it that are going to get released. So there's lots of reading there, lots of stuff to do this week. The BizApp Summit's still got loads going on and to catch up on, so I think that's probably a good point to wrap this up as the daily brief today and tell you, go read. There's lots there, so much of it.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.
Cheers. Bye.
Thanks very much. We'll speak to you soon.